Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Opinionated Plays, and I'm back again with another tier list video. This will be my fourth installment of the Dragon Ball Z tier list series, where we go over different characters from different sagas. Today we're focused on the Cell Saga. This saga is split up into two parts, basically the Android Saga, which involve Android 17 and 18, and Android 16 going on, I guess, an adventure, basically to kill Goku. But they don't end up doing that. They actually end up getting absorbed by Cell, which moves on to the Cell Saga, which is a bunch of fights with Vegeta, Trunks, Goku, and Gohan, taking on the different forms of Cell, and eventually leading to a big battle at the end with Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and Perfect Cell. So those are the sagas, and now I'd like to move on to the tiers. So today, we're working with the God tier as the top tier. These are the characters that are the best characters in the saga. They're basically undisputed best. Most people would agree. Even if you hate a character in this tier, you recognize and respect how important they are to the story and their power, right? So the next tier we have is entertaining. Now, there's going to be a lot of entertaining characters in the Cell Saga because it's such a long bunch of episodes. There's just bound to be so many characters that are enjoyable. So that's what the entertaining tier is for. Next, we have the mid tier, for characters who you can go with or without, but overall they probably play some role in moving the story along, or they're there for an episode or two just to basically take up time. You don't necessarily dislike these characters, but you don't necessarily like them either. So that's the story with the mid tier. Those characters are definitely mid. Next we have the annoying tier. There's not actually that many annoying characters in this saga. If I could point out, probably the androids, not all of them, but there's a few androids specifically that are extremely annoying, and I think everyone knows who I'm talking about. 19 and 20, right? So that's basically who are characters that will go in the annoying tier, predetermined basically. And then next we have the dog water tier, which is the characters you absolutely despise, the characters that either got killed and you're happy about it, or they didn't die and you're mad about it. Those characters should also be placed in the annoying tier, but this is just a worse level of annoyance, right? Dog water. So those are the tiers, and I'm happy to get started. So first here we have Android 18. Now she, in this saga specifically, starts out by going on an adventure with 16 and 17, but eventually gets swallowed up by Semi-Perfect Cell, which leads to him transforming into Perfect Cell. So the main things she did in this saga were beat the shit out of Vegeta, and basically have Krillin tell her that she is basically the girl he wants, right? So that's basically the deal with her. And then eventually she gets spit out by Cell when Gohan punches the shit out of him. So, you know, it was pretty entertaining to watch that. But overall, I would say 18 in Dragon Ball Z is mid. I think once you go to Super, she takes on more of a role in her daily life rather than an enemy, and I like her there more, but she did an alright job for what she was supposed to be, not being the main villain, but one of the enemies in this saga. Next we have Android 17. Now I would say for 17, he's basically similar to 18, where he's not another main villain, but he definitely provides more storytelling in each episode of them just adventuring around, which also leads up to an historically great fight versus him and fused with Kami Piccolo. One of the best fights in Z by a lot of people's standards, as far as the different moves that are used, the different fight scenes involved, the martial arts techniques, and it's a really tight matchup. They're basically evenly matched, but Piccolo doesn't have unlimited energy like 17, which leads him to run out of energy before 17 even breaks a sweat. So he's similar to 18 in this arc. Maybe a little better than 18, but still in the same tier. That's what I would say about him. Next we have Dr. Gero, and I'm going to tell you right now, this guy deserves to be an annoying. He's not absolute dog water, and we have to keep him out of dog water because he at least provided all these enemies for us in this saga specifically, and you know, without him, we wouldn't have 18, 17, 16, or Cell, so that allowed for the entire saga to take place, right? So we have to at least keep him in annoying. Can't put him in absolute dog water because he is relevant to the story. He's the first, one of the two first androids they come across, and initially they look like a big threat. Him and 19, which we're going to get to, but they actually are weaklings, and this guy is just the scientist that gets killed in his lab. So he actually gets killed by his own creation. 17 and 18 is there just standing there laughing. So that's the deal with that guy. I think he's very annoying. Moving on from him, we have Android 19, and I will say he is even worse than 20. He is probably the worst character in this saga, because all he does is think he can take on Saiyans because he does some damage to Goku with a heart attack, which has nothing to do with 20, and then gets Big Bang fucking attacked by Vegeta, and he's basically tormented by Vegeta for 10 minutes and is bullied, and they would not air that in today's day and age, where people will be very upset that they're bullying the hell out of this android. So he's the worst character. The best part about his character is him exploding into a billion pieces, right? So we appreciate that about Android 20. Next we have here Android 16, probably the best of the three main androids after 20 and 19. We're talking about 18, 17, and 16. This guy is definitely an entertaining character. The reason he's entertaining over the other two is because he has a very specific set of emotions which allow him to have a way greater character depth than 17 and 18, only in the saga though. 17 and 18 expand their character in the next series, but 16, over time, shows what he believes in and what side he's fighting for. He eventually is fighting with the good guys, takes on Perfect Cell, and gets his head chopped off, right? But what happens is, he tries to self-destruct Cell, but Bulma, while working on him, took basically the nuclear device out of him and made him basically useless against a way stronger opponent. So that's the reason he got his head blown off. But what happens is, his head being knocked off and still being functional without the body led to Cell stepping on his head and triggering an immense power and rage in Gohan, which allowed him to have his greatest moment in Dragon Ball Z, which is his transformation to Super Saiyan 2, and the big battle that precedes that, right? So that's why we like Android 16. I think most people enjoy his character on the show. It's a shame we don't see him in the future, but maybe they'll bring him back eventually. So he's entertaining. Here we go. We're moving off the androids. We got pink shirt, bad Vegeta, right? I believe at one point while he's wearing this, you know, he tells Trunks to stop looking at his shirt or whatever, something like that. It's just very funny that this guy is passive-aggressive while wearing this all the time. That's why he eventually moves on to his battle armor while training. He can't wear this without being passive-aggressive. So we have to agree that, I forget the original name, but we'll just say Pink Badass Vegeta, right? Definitely deserves a spot in the entertaining tier. He doesn't fight in this shirt, but we respect the drip, right, Vegeta? Next we have Mecha Frieza. Now the interesting part about Mecha Frieza is he comes back so fast to start this saga, right after we thought he was totally destroyed by Goku in the Frieza saga. But what this allows for is an opening to the future. The whole reason they bring Frieza here is to showcase the opening of future Trunks traveling from his timeline to here, and Frieza's basically thrown away because Trunks obliterates him and his father. So Mecha Frieza definitely needs to go in mid. He would go in annoying, but we still have to respect Frieza. He was even stronger here than on Namek, so we have to respect his power, but he did absolutely nothing to Trunks. The only thing he did was act like he wasn't scared of Super Saiyan Trunks, and then realize he is absolutely terrified of all Super Saiyans and anything that has to do with Super Saiyans, right? So that's the deal with him, right? Moving on from Frieza here, we have Tien, the first Z fighter here. Well, not the first, but the first one on this list. Tien, I would say, in the Cell Saga is difficult. I would put him in mid, but he had some really nice moments in the Cell Saga. It was probably the last saga where he got any shine, and I would point to the main one being him tri-beaming Cell and keeping him held down for 5 to 10 minutes, basically taking up half an episode, just pushing Cell into the earth. It was a very heroic act to allow for the androids to escape, which ultimately didn't matter, but for someone like him to use up his life energy and his life force at his actual power level to push Cell down was very impressive. We appreciate what Tien did there. But other than that, the only other time he's really fighting is probably when the Cell Juniors are attacking, and, you know, he does some stuff just like everyone else, but that's really it for him. But overall, I would say I enjoyed his, performance versus Semi-Perfect Cell, so he at least deserves a spot in mid. That's what I would say about Tien for this saga. Next here we have Krillin, and I really prefer this Krillin in this saga over the Krillin I saw in the Buu saga following the saga, because he actually still had enough of a power level to become, you know, a solid martial artist versus the main enemies, right? So Krillin here is basically saving this lady in this saga, and Imperfect Cell comes up and is attacking him. And what happens is, Krillin gets this lady into this plane, right? And they take off, and Cell follows them, and Krillin delivers a nasty blow to Cell. And I can't tell you how impressed I was that Krillin actually landed a good, clean shot on Cell. And, you know, got away basically because Cell sensed the energy, I believe, of one of the androids, and he had to leave the situation, and Krillin and the lady were saved. That is what I think about in this saga the most. Krillin didn't really do much else but provide sensu beans, but that alone, I think, that little moment with Cell in one episode allows him to at least be mid. He wasn't entertaining because he didn't have enough scenes where he was fighting or doing that much, but he deserves mid with Tien. They both had one great moment in the Cell Saga, so they deserve mid. Next year we have Yamcha. He's absolutely dog water in this saga. The reason is because they are fighting the androids, and before they even, you know, find the androids that they're trying to fight, this guy just gets one-shotted from behind by this android's hand he's pointing in like it's a knife or a blade, and Yamcha gets obliterated. And the only reason he doesn't die is because the others save his life with a sensu bean. From that point on, he does absolutely nothing else in this saga, and then he trends towards doing nothing for the rest of Z. So he deserves dog water along with Android 20, and they might be the only dog water characters that are on this list, because specifically I can't think of anyone else that's at dog water. Maybe besides these guys, which we'll just throw in there right now. They got one-shotted pretty bad by Trunks, so that's where we'll put them. But anyway, we're moving on to Piccolo here, and I think Piccolo is very entertaining in the saga, and I think they're referring to this Piccolo being not fused with Kami yet, because I spot another Piccolo here with Kami and Piccolo fusing. So we'll just say this Piccolo is not fused with Kami yet. He still has a really nice fight with Dr. Gero, and he trains with Goku and Gohan for most of the time before they take on the androids. The other thing that this Piccolo was doing the whole entire saga, and you can count this in with Kamikolo basically, was basically overseeing everything that was going on, really basically being the moderator of this saga, you know, talking to everyone, giving them, ideas, pointers, stuff like that, being the voice of reason. So we think Piccolo's entertaining in the saga, because he's still strong and he can still fight, and he's still worth a spot in the fighting category. Later on in Super, he falls off power-wise, same thing with the end of Z, so he's still a threat in this saga, and is still one of the strongest allies available to fight. Next here we have base form Trunks, and I'll tell you what, I think any form of Trunks in this saga deserves to be entertaining, because it basically revolves around his future and him trying to save it. So we'll throw him there. Base Form Trunks specifically is probably just the form of Trunks that's just flying around doing, a bunch of stuff. He's not really fighting in base much in this saga. So we'll move on to his Super Saiyan form, and this looks like Trunks meeting up with Yardrick Goku, showing him his sword. And we could also refer to this Trunks as the one that sliced the shit out of Frieza and his father. So I almost want to put this guy in God tier, and I think I will, because if we're just talking about the Trunks from him first appearing to after he left and told Goku that he was going to have a heart virus, this Trunks, just for that sequence of events, deserves God tier. It's the best version of Trunks, and he does the most in any part of Z. And he's really only in this saga, but just talking about this Trunks, his entrance is one of the best in the series. I mean, we think this guy is stronger than Goku until Goku shows up and tells him, no way, basically using his finger to deflect his sword, right? But anyway, if you disagree that this Trunks is God tier, that's fine, but I think a lot more people would say, just this Trunks from early in the saga is God tier. Him turning Super Saiyan, killing Frieza, killing his father, and meeting up with Goku, I mean, giving him the knowledge that he'll have a heart virus, all that combined makes him a God tier character. But the rest of the Trunks, not really. But we'll keep this guy in God tier. He's not the best character in this saga, but he deserves a spot in God tier, in my humble opinion. Next here we have Chaozu. Chaozu. Chaozu from the Cell Saga. Wow. I really don't think this guy did anything. So we'll just throw him in annoying. He's not absolute dog water, because he didn't get killed, right? That's what I would say. He didn't get his ass beat at any point I can remember. He's just annoying because he's not strong enough to fight, so I think he gets left behind for most of it. So he deserves to be an annoying because he is an annoying character for not being able to get stronger with all the cool little, techniques he has that are basically amounting to nothing at this point because he can't fight any of the big bad guys. So he deserves to be an annoying, right? Following him, we have King Cold. King Cold is basically mid. The only reason I'm not putting him in annoying or dog tier is for the simple fact that he thought that taking Trunks' sword would make him stronger than him and was the reason Trunks was so powerful. And it led to King Cold getting fucking bombed by Trunks. So just for that alone, I'll put him in mid. Just for watching his death be hilarious. Just getting kicked into the rocks and just eviscerated by Trunks. It was hilarious, I'm sorry. I can't put him in annoying or dog water, just for his death. That's how I feel about it. If you disagree, you can put him in annoying, dog water, whatever. It was hilarious, one of the best deaths in the saga. Next here we have Gohan. I believe this is pre-hyperbolic time chamber, and this Gohan doesn't do much. I would say he's just mid. I'm not going to put him annoying, he's still a decent fighter from Namek training and experience, but overall, he doesn't really ascend until his time chamber experience, right? Moving on from him, we have Yardrick Goku in base form. This guy is just entertaining. He's not that strong in base. I mean, I guess if you compare him to some other people that are around him, sure, but if he was fighting a real enemy, he wouldn't be strong in base, right? So we think Goku's entertaining in his Yardrick outfit just for the outfit alone. They're wondering why he's wearing that. It's because he's from a different planet, which they've never known or seen before, so he's hilarious by wearing this outfit that no one expected. That's why he's entertaining, right? Base form Vegeta. The scenes I remember base form Vegeta is him standing there in the rain, depressed, and him being overconfident, talking to Android 18, and his son Trunks thinking he can just take both of them on, no problem, and ends up getting his shit kicked in, even in Super Saiyan, by Android 18, right? So we'll just put this Vegeta in annoying, because base form Vegeta gets fucking stomped every time he says he could do something when he gets shit on. So that's the situation with him. But at least with Super Saiyan Vegeta, he is 1 for 1, right? Or, I mean, 1 for 2. So he gets a dub versus Android 20, a weaker opponent, but he gets his shit kicked in by Android 18 after that. So we'll still put him in entertaining. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's arguable, though, because Android 18 was the stronger opponent and she beat him. But to be honest with you, him killing Android 20 was extremely entertaining, which leads me to believe he shouldn't be in mid. I think the scenes from that fight and him the first time turning Super Saiyan and then how he turned Super Saiyan, even though he got beat by a teen, I think he deserves a spot in entertaining. It's understandable if you disagree. I could put him in mid, but I think I'm leaning 55-45 entertaining, right? Next we have Super Vegeta. This is the ascended form of Super Saiyan, grade 2. This form is extremely hyped up. People think this guy is going to end the saga versus Semi-Perfect Cell, not allow him to absorb 18. And basically he's beating the shit out of Cell for a half hour, but then he allows him to absorb the androids, and for that, Trunks kicks the shit out of him and he lands in the water. But the whole point of Super Vegeta, I mean, this guy was stronger than Semi-Perfect Cell, right? His training paid off. It worked. He wasn't joking when he said he was going to get to a next level. Now, this wasn't the next level, but it's still a next level. And the problem with Vegeta is, in this saga, where he can be very annoying, is thinking that no matter what, he's right. And in this circumstance, I would just put him in mid. Specifically, what keeps him out of entertaining in God tier is allowing Cell to transform into Perfect. But in reality, we like that Cell would transform into Perfect because we got to see a grand Cell games with all Goku and Gohan and everyone there, you know, fighting Cell, right? So overall, we'll keep him in mid. People would say he could be annoying. People could say he could be dog water, entertaining, whatever. I think mid's a good spot because he is a flawed character in the episodes he's in. But to be fair, Final Flash was a great scene. It lasted for like 5 minutes, so he deserves at least mid. Let's, you know, be nice and try to ignore the F-up with Cell, right? Next here we have Super Saiyan Yardrick Goku, and I think this is another guy who deserves entertaining, just like base form Yardrick Goku, because he looks cool as shit in this outfit as Super Saiyan. I think most people do agree. It's really all I gotta say about him. He used his finger to deflect Trunks' sword, and, you know, it was hilarious that Trunks couldn't land a hit, so looks great to me, right? Next year we have Heart Virus Goku. This guy is annoying. I wanted to see him fight Android 19, and he couldn't, so he deserves to be annoying. It's not his fault he couldn't fight him, but still, he should have remembered that Trunks told him he had a heart virus. So sitting there having a heart attack, getting embarrassed, if Vegeta wasn't there, he might have gotten his ass beat. So we appreciate, you know, Goku for most of this saga, but not this one, right? Next year we have Bulma with the afro. I think this Bulma's pretty cool. This is the Bulma that eventually had Trunks with Vegeta in this current timeline. I would just say she's mid. She doesn't really do anything with this hairstyle. I'm pretty sure we'll just go to this Bulma. This is the Bulma that was working on 16 and took the bomb out of him. So we'll say this Bulma is annoying. But this Bulma's better. She's mid in this saga. She's not like original Dragon Ball Bulma. But, you know, Bulma and Z's pretty cool. The best saga she has is probably Namek. But other than that, I would say, you know, she does what she always does, which is, you know, talk to the guys, you know, tell them what to do, give them some pointers. Just kind of like the female Piccolo. They're very smart, both of them. They kind of play a similar role, so we appreciate Bulma. But she doesn't deserve anything higher than mid. Next, we have Puar. Pretty dog water. Only good in original Dragon Ball. You know, him and Yamcha can, you know, let's put Yamcha and him right here. I'll put Yamcha behind him because I think Puar is actually more useful. So we'll move on from that. Next we have Piccolo fused with Kami, or Kamikolo, and I would say this Piccolo is entertaining. The only reason he is not in God tier is because he did not beat Android 17. If he would have beat Android 17, this man would be in God tier. He would have prevented Cell from reaching his final form because 17 would have been destroyed, and it was a great fight. If he would have won it, people would have remembered this Kamikolo way more, right? That's how I feel about him. Piccolo is good in this saga overall. Kamikolo or not, it's good, right? Next here we have Kami. Kami's just mid. You know, he fuses with Piccolo, so I'm going to keep him in mid, not below that. You know, he's there to fuse with Piccolo. Piccolo gets stronger, has a good fight with Imperfect Cell in 17, and that's basically how it goes, right? I mean, for the most part, Kami is a pretty mediocre character. It's just, he just basically the other half of Demon King Piccolo, and he eventually has to confront the fact that he needs to fuse with Piccolo because he's not evil like his father, right? So that's the deal with that. Next here we have Imperfect Cell, and we're getting into the big bads here, and I would say Imperfect Cell was entertaining. He was very scary upon initial glance. I think him just going around from town to town and city to city, absorbing people constantly, and people really didn't know how strong this guy was until Piccolo confronted him and told him to F off, and then he ran away once, everyone joined him. Like, there was 3 of them there, I believe. It was it Krillin, Tien, Vegeta, around someone like that, right? They all meted up and Imperfect Cell ran away, but eventually boosted his power once he absorbed enough humans, and then he was the strongest one there, right? Stronger than 17 or Piccolo, right? So Imperfect Cell is very scary, and that's why he's in the entertaining category. Next here we have Semi-Perfect Cell. This guy is annoying as shit. He gets his ass beat, and the only reason he's not in dog water is he actually persuaded someone to allow him to transform into his perfect form. But what holds him back is he persuaded Vegeta to allow him into his perfect form. It's not hard to persuade Vegeta to want to fight a stronger opponent. If he would have persuaded, like, Goku, then this guy would have been way higher. But the fact that you can persuade Vegeta and that's your only claim to fame, that's all you did. You're an ugly bastard. You're just spots all over you, way more than the perfect version, I believe. Or at least they're, more spread out on the perfect version, not so obscene and just ugly. So that's the situation with this guy. He deserves annoying. He's not absolute dog water, but, he's close. Next here we have Trunks base form post hyperbolic time chamber. Trunks looks pretty badass in his Saiyan uniform. This is the first time you see him, rep a Saiyan outfit. Bulma makes him for everyone, right? And I would say this guy's, mid, because he doesn't actually fight in base for the most part. He's mostly in Super Saiyan or in his ultra big ass form, right? So I would just say this Trunks is mid. And I'd like to get to this version of Trunks, which is the same form Vegeta was using. In this Trunks eventually gets even bulkier and becomes like a Super Trunks, basically, right? And I would just say to you, the viewer, this guy is mid, and this guy is mid. They basically were like, okay, I can take on Cell. I'm stronger than my father. Your father could do the same transformation. He just didn't use it. That's what happened, Trunks. I'm sorry. That's all I gotta say. Perfect Cell. Perfect Cell is entertaining. Now, hold on, folks. I want to let you know. There's another Cell here. His name is Super Perfect Cell. And this Cell goes in God tier. So let's go over this, right? Perfect Cell, the only people he beat was Trunks and Vegeta, right? He didn't beat Goku. Goku said, I'm done, right? And he didn't beat Gohan. Gohan cried and then went off, okay? So just regular Perfect Cell is extremely entertaining, but he's not God tier. You're not God tier. I'm sorry. Super Perfect Cell, right here, is the GOAT. He is fucking nasty, okay? He shot the shit out of Trunks and then broke half of Vegeta's arms and legs, right? And then he basically shoots at Vegeta and Gohan takes a hit for him, right? And then after that, this fucking, like, Cell, right? He comes out here and is just bursting with electricity and energy, just steaming off his body, right? And he's just going crazy. And even though he did not beat Gohan, he would have beaten him if not for Vegeta's shot in the back and Gohan getting advice from his father. The world would be over. Cell would rule the universe. He got bailed out because... Oh, no. The good guys got bailed out by Goku and Vegeta, Gohan was able to take down Cell, erase him from existence, but everyone knows that Cell, in his super perfect state, was unbelievably powerful, but pales into comparison, which I'll go to now, is Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Now, if you have ever heard of Dragon Ball Z before, you know this man right here. This dude is the most badass little boy I've ever fucking seen. This dude's like 11 years old, and he's fucking beating the shit out of alien life form, basically. Scientists made. You know, just, if we're gonna put an age on Cell, let's just Cell is in his early 30s, right? That's what I would say. Cell's like in his early 30s. Even though he's not, that's how he comes off, right? Gohan bitches this guy back into semi-perfect, and then forces him to have to self-destruct. Not this Cell, but the perfect Cell. And then he ends up coming back in, you know, his super perfect state, and proceeds to have both arms available, while Gohan only has one arm available, right? Gohan still beats this guy with one arm, okay? That's all you need to know. Cell had two arms, Gohan had one. Period. Gohan's the best. He's the best character in the saga. Everyone loves him. That's the end of the story. Now, following that, we can't really beat those two, so we're just going to move through the rest of this fairly quickly. We have Super Goku, bulky-ass transforming Goku from the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. I would say this guy is mid, doesn't do anything, doesn't fight, powers back down, says, I'm too big, right? Over here we have Gohan in his Super Saiyan, mastered Super Saiyan state. Entertaining. You know, he can compete with Cell, but he needs to transform to beat him. But we still liked seeing this version of Gohan. The strongest fighter there, basically. Not as much experience as the others, but boasting with potential, you know, and eventually reaches the pinnacle in the Cell Saga of Super Saiyan 2, right? And now we have here four guys who are from the, you know, Trunks timeline, which is the past, basically. And basically we have the base form of Gohan, Super Saiyan Gohan, base form Trunks, Super Saiyan Trunks. And you know what I'm going to say about all four of these guys? Base form of him is mid. Base form of him is mid. Super Saiyan of this guy is entertaining. And Super Saiyan of this guy is entertaining. And that's basically how I would say it is. Who cares about these guys? He's cool. He's cool. He dies. He cries because that guy dies. And then he transforms into Super Saiyan for the first time because he's dead. So they're fighting the androids. And this is the Trunks that eventually goes to the current timeline, right? So that's the deal with those four. I just want to move past them quickly. But cool characters, right? Master Roshi, entertaining. Every saga he's entertaining. He always has jokes, he's always a pervert. Next here we have Chi-Chi. She's annoying. Telling Gohan not to fight after he just trained, not gonna happen. He fights Cell, he wins. Here we have Yajirobe. Yajirobe, huh? We'll just say he's mid. He did a way better job in the Saiyan Saga, where he cut Vegeta's tail, but overall I would say Yajirobe's, you know, decent character in this saga, when he's on screen, right? Mr. Popo is pretty funny in this saga. You know, you see him a lot just standing up there on the tower. It's funny because he never leaves there. But we appreciate Mr. Popo. You know, he's entertaining. He's not going to be anywhere but with Master Roshi. They're both on the same tier of entertaining. Very cool character design for Mr. Popo. No one else that really has that kind of like Egyptian thing on his head with the, you know, the robes over his stomach. He's basically almost naked, but he's walking around in like these sweatpants. So that's the deal with Mr. Popo. Pretty funny. But here we have a version of Gohan and Goku who are from the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. I would just say both these guys are entertaining in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. You like the scenes of training. Anytime it's Goku and Gohan training, it's entertaining. You can't say it's not. Whenever Gohan's training, you're wondering, is this guy just going to get crazy strong? And then you look at Goku and it's like, is Gohan going to surpass Goku? And he did. A few guys here left. We have Cell Jr., dog water, right? The reason they're dog water is because Gohan one-shot all of them, and they were scared shitless, so they deserve dog water. I'm going to go over Hercule here next, and I would say Hercule is entertaining in the Cell Saga. He's also entertaining in the Buu Saga. You may not like Mr. Satan in either of these sagas, but he provided great filler scenes, basically, of an audience for a fight that no human being should be standing around near. But of course we had basically humans in Mr. Popo, his camera crew, his little group there, you know, in the middle of a battle zone and just talking shit, right? Talking reckless. So I would call it entertaining. Some people might find him annoying, but entertaining is a good spot for him, in my opinion. Lastly here, I wanted to save Goku here for last. The reason I want to save him for last is because this Goku is God tier. He deserves to go right there behind Super Perfect Cell, and Trunks is there right after him. This is a really nice God tier of characters. I think you're talking about Trunks versus Frieza, King Cold, Goku versus Perfect Cell, then you have Super Perfect Cell, and then Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. These are great characters from this saga, but let's hit on Goku real quick. Excellent transformation, some of the best animation in the series. Cell versus Goku. If Goku did not have energy restraints, he could have fought even longer and possibly beaten Cell. They were both losing energy, but Cell did have the upper hand in strength, so he was able to outlast him, which led to Goku retreating and letting Gohan fight. But who doesn't love Mastered Super Saiyan Goku from this saga? I definitely appreciate the work the animation crew put into this few episodes of them fighting. Great martial arts techniques. You can't forget the instant transmission Kamehameha versus Cell, which we all saw and wish he would have fired another one to actually destroy Cell because half his body was blown off. But they allowed Cell to regenerate, which was a mistake. But I guess Goku thought he killed him completely. But other than that, great fight. Very entertaining prelude to the Gohan versus Cell. So that's my tier list. If you have any complaints, leave them down in the comments section. But this concludes my Dragon Ball Z tier list series. 4 sagas. We went over all the characters from the sagas, besides some side characters we might have missed. But overall, the main people we hit on. And I think overall, my lists are pretty accurate. They're not 100% accurate all the time. Some of it's bias, some of it's lack of remembering a certain episode or a part where a character might have done something entertaining or good. But overall, I think I try to use my knowledge of the Dragon Ball series and put it into these lists, right? So, very fun time making these lists. If you appreciated this video or enjoyed this video and basically thought that my tier list was accurate enough, you know, subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching.